Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. For today's video, we're going to talk about the content update to the Fire Emblem Lost Heroes event that came out today. I am recording this on May 3rd, so there are some new quests to complete, there are new rewards available in the treasure trade, and that is what I'm going to discuss in this video, how to approach it, my initial tips, my initial impressions. So hopefully this will be helpful to you as you continue to grind out this event. It's another 10 days, so there is still time. However, if you are someone who wants to reach the end of these Valor rewards at 10 million Valor, you probably want to start now as it is going to take a while to do that. So let's go ahead and view quests here and talk about the first part of the event. You're going to have episode 6 and episode 7 available to you. So I highly suggest completing these first. Really interesting stories, honestly, with some lore drops for the main campaign of Dragalia Lost. Pretty cool to see, and by completing these, you do get a special reward for finishing episode 7. So I will show that, I will go ahead and show that. Hopefully you've done that already, but it is a worm print, and I think it's worth talking about. So it's Bonds Between Worlds, you get this worm print. Stats. Definitely welfare wormprint status here, slightly lower stats, but the fact that this comes at level 100, you don't have to spend level up fodder for it, it's quite good. It's a good wormprint given that. It has a good amount of strength when your HP is above 70%, and you also get skill prep of 25%. So honestly, this is a great wormprint to get for free. It's good for someone like Lowen. If you're running Lowen with his 5-star elemental staff in High Mercury, then that is a great option. When you compare it to Astounding Trick, you know, that had HP of 70% equals strength 13%, 151 HP and 54 strength. And you look at this, you know, you're losing out 1 HP, but you're getting skill prep of 25%. That's very good, and Astounding Trick used to be one of the best free-to-play wormprints, so really nice reward that we're going to get for free from the event. Make sure, if nothing else, you actually view the end of the story so that you get that. Now, once you do that though, once you complete episode 6 and episode 7, you're going to unlock some new things. You're going to have Infernal difficulty, which has Repel the Empire and Veronica's Trial, and eventually you're also going to get the Alberian Front on Lunatic. So we'll start with this Infernal difficulty stuff. For Repel the Empire, this is pretty much more of the same. It's wave-based content, multi-element, and this time around, the enemy attacks are more dangerous because most of them are purple area of effects instead of red ones. That means you can't use an iframe or an invulnerability frame to just use a skill and get through them. You actually have to be careful and dodge or dragon to avoid them and avoid taking damage at least. So that is one that you want to be careful about. However, this is going to be your best choice because there are 2 dailies for doing Repel the Empire. Because you're going to get great badges from this, that makes it definitely worth it. And if you are brand new, you know, the 10,000 might is nothing to scoff at. It does take a while to build up to that point. So there's no shame at approaching this in co-op if that's what it takes, if you are able to do it. And at least you can get some great badges from this for some of the good rewards from the treasure trade, as this is, I think, the easiest of the new pieces of content that's come out. So that's pretty much Repel the Empire on Infernal. Now, Veronica's Trial, this, like Alphonse's Trial, you mainly want to complete it once. I'm definitely going to go back as I completed it, but I want to get my death list so I can get 10 extra Wormide, and of course, you already know I have to take this on with Eleonora at some point, so that's going to be what I do to circle back around and get that Endeavor. Now, the might requirement is the same as for Alphonse. Veronica has slightly more HP, but I find that she's less hard than Alphonse. She has fewer purple attacks, and generally speaking, she's not quite as lethal as he is with some of his attacks, and I think her attacks are a little bit easier to dodge. The main thing you want to look out for Veronica is once she enters Overdrive, because she is going to summon 2 clones, and you can't really break her until you destroy those clones, and they're pretty tanky themselves. So I would recommend having your team target one of the clones first. That will reduce the amount of chaos and hitboxes being spawned onto the battlefield significantly, and then you can focus on the other clone. Once you defeat that, Veronica is going to be broken, and that is the time to unleash your damage. So I think she's easier. If you've beaten Alphonse, you should be able to beat her, and your free Alphonse that everyone has is going to be a good option, if nothing else, to take her on. So you're also going to get great badges from this. For your first completion, you're going to get a bunch of them. You're going to get a Champion's Testament as well. So make sure you try to do Veronica's Trial once if you are in this might range where you can take it on. That's all I really want to say about Veronica's Trial. Now the Alberian Front Lunatic, in my opinion, of the new content that's come out, this is actually probably the hardest one, and that might requirement should indicate that to you. It's no joke. You would be surprised, I was definitely surprised at how much harder this was than on hard difficulty. The enemies can genuinely destroy your gate very quickly, and they're quite tanky. They can do pretty serious damage to you, so unlike on the easier difficulties, you might want to bring a healer into this one if you feel like your team is struggling to survive. Otherwise, if a couple of your team members have Cupid available to them, Cupid is going to be able to provide some healing over time. There's also characters like Odetta who would be great for that. There's Halloween Elisan. And of course, I said healing over time for Cupid, but it is a one-use heal. I just mean, multiple uses of Cupid. You're going to heal throughout the course of the match, but it is not a regen effect, just to clarify that. So as far as the way this unfolds, you're going to start off at the gate, and generally speaking for the first wave, I like to position 2 people here and then 2 people here. That's where enemies are going to come from, and if y'all all head out in one direction, you're going to leave one of your flanks exposed, and you're going to take a lot of damage to your base from the incoming enemy wave. You probably won't know this the first time you try it out, because when you start this map, it's essentially fog of war. You can't see enemies on the radar, so you don't know where they're coming from except by trial and error. After that first wave, though, you can start to rescue these houses, and so this party, I usually recommend you lower this drawbridge and send someone directly up here to this house and someone to this house to protect them from the bandits that spawn. This bottom right house is pretty important because by saving this house and walking into that blue circle where the villager is to give you a bonus, you always want to make sure you're doing that, otherwise it doesn't actually count that you saved the house. But by walking into that circle, you're going to get intel. That's how you're going to see all the enemies on the map on your radar or on your HUD. So that is pretty important. There's also a dragon vein, I guess. Forgot what they're called, but one of the dragon obelisks, I think that's what it is, that give you a lot of dragon gauge here. So this is pretty nice. And there's one here by this house. So for this party of 2 during that phase, one of them probably should stay here, protect the gate, and the other one should go and take out the bandit and save that house and then lower this drawbridge. The person who's here can also circle around and lower this drawbridge, and then everybody can kind of converge back to around these areas, like around these bridges in front of the gate, as those are going to be some of the hot spots for activity. Once you stop wave 2, wave 3 will start. For wave 3, you want to be really careful as there are some late reinforcements that can spawn behind you, between you and the gate if you're too far out on the map, and they can attack the gate very quickly, and the Cyclops that is close to the gate can also attack it if you don't have aggro on him and aren't having him attack you. So generally speaking, I think you want 2 people close to here and probably 2 people over here. You can kind of go where you need to. If you are able to clear out all the waves and do so within a certain time, then you are going to unlock the Shadow Knight. He'll appear. The Shadow Knight is bulkier and he does deal more damage than on hard mode, but basically he is just a sponge for damage. If you can dodge his red area of effect moves or iframe through them, he's not too bad to take out. The problem is it's pretty hard to defeat the Shadow Knight while collecting all your Valor rewards, so it is possible you need 4 strong DPS to do it. But, don't be too upset or too disheartened if you can't collect all the Valor rewards. You need an especially smooth run to do so, so just keep at this. You're going to get great badges. You're going to get Consecrated Water. There's a chance of getting Damascus Crystals, Golden Fragments, and Twinkling Grains. The Consecrated Water is only a chance as well, but I think this one spawns more frequently than the other ones. So basically that is the Alberian front, and this is going to be where you get most of your Valor to work your way up to that 10 million. So in my case, I'm able to get around 80,000 from this with a fairly successful clear, not getting all the time bonuses, but defeating the Shadow Knight. And what I did before this update to the event was I got up to 2 million Valor. So I basically have 800,000 Valor, 8 million Valor left to get, and I'm getting 80,000 per match. That means I probably need to do about 10 of these matches per day to finish this in the 10 days that remain. So that's like 20 wings dedicated to this one mode. So I could see it getting kind of monotonous over time, and the good thing is, if you're just able to clear it once, there are some endeavors that you're going to get here that are going to give you Twinkling Sand, you're going to get some Wormite for clearing it once, you're going to get a special epithet. So make sure you at least try to do that, especially if you're new. 16k might just to enter that quest. It is pretty daunting. That is basically the highest amount of might that we've had as a requirement for a mode, I'm pretty sure, in the game so far. So I think that that's going to be pretty challenging. So, even if you're able to get to that, you might not have the damage output, but maybe you could be a healer and find some 3 willing DPS companions to take that on with you and try to get you your first clear on it. Even if you don't clear it, you're still going to get some great badges as rewards. And those great badges are important for the treasure trade. So I'll show you, I have a ton of badges. I basically got all the 1 to 2 of items, plus all of the consecrated water and the succulent dragon fruit and nothing else. And there's no way to convert these right now into great badges, so they're just going to become mana or rupees, basically. Those are the sinks. However, with your great badges, you can get a sunlight stone. That's a free unbind on a 5-star dragon. Highly recommend you get that. You can get a Damascus ingot. That's the same, but for a 5-star weapon. Highly recommend you get that. You can get a golden key. Same, but for a 5-star worm print. That's going to save you some Eldwater, so that's also good. You can get 3 of these Twinkling Sands, a Champion's Testament, a couple of Knight's Testaments, another copy of Folkvanger, which you're going to want if you want to max unbind that just for your collection. There's a sticker in here as well. So you're going to want a good amount of great badges, but if you're going for Valor, you're going to get them anyway. And then any excess great badges you have, you can start to spend on these insignias, and that is a pretty good secondary use of them. So that's pretty much what I want to say about the new content. It is very challenging. It's significantly harder than what we had before, so don't feel bad if you're not able to take it on. There's still things to do in the event, there's still rewards to collect, and just by playing normal content in the game, you're going to get badges, but you won't be getting great badges. So if you still haven't finished your badge rewards from the treasure trade, at least that is still something you can work on. I'll just show you my event team, as because of how high that Valor amount you're going to need is if you want to clear out the Valor rewards, you're going to want to make sure that all your team members have these Valor boosting worm prints. Now for your leader, you might want to use a stronger secondary worm print instead of the Order's Messenger Owl. The main reason I have this is for Valor, but if using a stronger worm print lets you clear faster and you're getting more of a Valor bonus, then I can see the merit as to removing that. But pretty much just make sure, because all of your 3 team members, even in co-op, are going to contribute to your Valor income, make sure you have some Valor boosting worm prints on all of them before you start a co-op match. That's really all I want to say about the event. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope some of this information is helpful to you, and I wish you luck as you play out the rest of this event. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you like this story as well. That's going to do it for this video. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time.